Welcome to Transaction TV. I'm your host, Anthony Atanasio, CEO of Hawk Strategies. And joining me for this episode is a man who needs no introduction at Transaction, the chairman himself, Michael Vieira. Michael, thanks so much for
Thanks,
being here.
Anthony. And you know what? The beginning of this interview is probably going to be the same as last year. Happy anniversary. You
Thank
know
you.
what? I'm so happy for Hawk Strategies. You know what? We say it every single year, and it's your 7th anniversary.
Yes, sir.
It was born right here at Transaction
Right at
7
the
years
dais
ago.
from the sumptuous luncheon buffet. Yeah.
Yep. And you're going to ask me if how I'm doing. I'm exhausted. But you know what? It's the last day behind us. Our vendors are starting to clean up. But you know what? We had another record year. Over 1,400 people.
1,400. Ladies and gentlemen, when I came to my first transaction as the Deputy Chief of Staff of New Jersey Transit in 2010, I was wide-eyed, 29-year-old, and there was about 650 people. And we were in the Tropicana. And at the time, I thought that was like the biggest and most amazing thing I'd ever seen, right? To have watched what you have done as the leader of this conference, 1,400 people, more exhibitors than ever before.
130 exhibitors, 12 vehicles. I was getting calls right up to the last minute saying, "Hey, can I get a booth in?" We made extra aisles and everything else. And you know, the one problem I had was they wanted a vehicle in at the last minute, but we did it.
Yeah.
I don't like to say no to anybody.
You know, Michael, that's one of the things about this conference is you always find a way to the yes. You always try to find a way to make it better, to make it more inclusive, to make the exhibitors feel more appreciated and the attendees feel like they're getting their value. Transaction truly is become the conference you cannot miss if you're involved in the transportation community.
And I've heard a lot of that. And this year in particular, I've noticed a lot more legislators and elected officials here.
County commissioners,
We've never gotten that
mayors,
before.
Yeah.
It was great. Even retired ones. I saw John Wisniewski, and I actually saw Senator Orho.
Yep.
And they're like, I never knew about this conference, but you know what? I heard about it, and I had to be here.
Yeah.
Even retired.
Yeah. The success of this conference is now moving in front of it, right?
Yeah.
It's not just the same small group of people who were coming every year for so long. Over the last 7 to 10 years, it has truly grown and morphed. The continuing education piece. I mean, how many applications did you get for workshops this year?
We had close to 200 applications for workshop sessions. And usually we do about 90 workshops. They were so good this year that we ended up whittling them down to 110. And I said, okay, you know, we usually get some last minute cancellations, and that 110 will get whittled down to maybe 90 or whatever.
Nope.
No cancellations. Now I have to deal with 110 workshops. We've never had that before.
Wow.
So, you know, we had to add an extra hour here and an hour there. I don't want to do that again because, you know, it brought the day very long. And the people who attend this conference, they go to the classes.
They do.
It's not like these conferences where they'll hang out somewhere else. They literally go. These classes were jam-packed. At the Tropicana, some of the rooms only had seated 30 people.
Right.
Okay? I can never go back to there. All of our rooms have a minimum of 50. I have a couple for 100. I have one for 125. The one you did yesterday for 125, it was out the door.
Michael, there were people standing in the hall trying to get into the VIP panel. I mean, and we all know we all want to see Chris Calori. We had Chris Calori, Steve Dougherty, who runs SJTA, Parth Oza, the Assistant Commissioner of CPM. That's the other thing about this conference. If you're in the transportation community, right, the decision makers are here.
Yes.
The agency decision makers, the industry decision makers, the advocates and enthusiasts, whoever you are in the transportation
And that's
community.
how we're trying to sell this conference.
Yeah.
We're trying to get them more involved and educated and come out. You have to be at this conference.
Yeah.
You really do.
You can't miss it. And you know, the highest compliment that we were paid yesterday came from the man himself, Chris Calori. I mean, here's a man who is running 2 agencies. He's the former commissioner of transportation, the former head of the Gateway Development Committee. And at the end of our Transaction TV interview, he said, Anthony, I don't know how you and Michael do this, right? That level of a compliment from someone is running 2 of our agencies.
Yep.
Yeah, speaks volumes to a transaction.
He's a special person in itself. My wife is not a transportation person, but she was at the lunch yesterday and she heard him speak and she almost fell in love with him.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my God, Michael. She goes, he's great.
Michael, we got to keep our wives away from Chris because my wife said, make sure you say hi to Chris Calori when you go down there because she heard him speak once you hear him speak. But that's the point. He is the man in transportation right now, along with the commissioner, of course. Chris is the man. We know this. And the way he spoke about this conference, to us privately, to the group publicly, speaks volumes of what Transaction has become and where it's going.
And we'll always remember Frank Riley.
Always.
He founded this conference in his garage 50 years ago. At lunch, we gave him the microphone a little bit longer than he should have had. We said 5 minutes, and it probably went on for about 20.
About, yeah.
But you know what? Frank enjoyed it. It
Yeah.
was his first year down seeing Harrah's because he's been sick the last couple of years. But
Right.
he walked in here and he was just amazed.
Wide-eyed, right? Well,
Yeah.
listen, and to his credit, an idea he had 51 years ago that became a conference 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And as he was telling everybody here, 30 people and 3 booths, the first one, right?
Yep.
Well, now to 1,400 people,
Yep.
over 130 exhibits, right? A waiting list, people who got turned down. This is going to continue to go new places. One of the things that you initiated this year was you procured a new website. You
Yes.
created social media handles, which
Trying to
never
get that,
existed
yeah.
before. You know, we ask our viewers at home to follow TransAction on LinkedIn and Facebook. So now the voice
And
of
we're going to
TransAction.
continue throughout the year.
Yes.
We're going to continue promoting TransAction throughout the year. It's just not a one-time event.
Right.
So you know what? I thought I got some rest during the summer months. I don't think I'm going to get any rest
No,
anymore.
we're going to keep you moving there, Chairman.
You know what? Our goal is going to be 1,500. Will we make 1,500 next year? I don't know, but that'll be our next goal.
You know what?
Next,
Challenge accepted, everybody. Michael, we're going to help you, and we are going to get 1,500 people here next
and the
year.
good thing is, and I think I said it last year on this show, is to get everything I want at this hotel, it takes about 4 or 5 years. Well, next year is our 4th year, and we have everything. We have this room, which is the exhibit hall. We have the pool for our concert, and we have the upstairs, which is an exact duplicate of downstairs. So we'll have our lunch again upstairs. I'm thinking about making classrooms. These classrooms are, even the 50, they're too packed.
They're
So I think I'm
overflowing.
going to make a lot more 100
Okay.
seaters, and I'm going to use the upstairs for classrooms and lunch upstairs. So we're going to use this whole waterfront conference center.
That's
But,
exciting.
you know, I got the best compliment. It was a small compliment, but it was the best compliment. And the person came up to me and goes, Michael, I just want to let you know, every time somebody says and gives you a suggestion, you really look at it
Yeah.
and you really take heart. She goes, I gave you a suggestion about vegan meals and vegetarian meals and everything, and you provided it this year. She goes, thank you very much, and I'm coming back next year.
That's fantastic.
That's the biggest compliment, is when the person says something like that, and I'm coming back next year.
You know, we're all very proud to be part of this conference, but of all, I just wanted to say on behalf of the TransAction community, those who've been coming here for a long time, I want to thank you. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your vision, and thank you for your passion. Because this is a volunteer role.
This is an old volunteer,
Yeah.
and I have a committee of probably about 15. You sit on the committee.
Mhm.
Really, this is your baby right here. This TransAction TV, it was an idea I had many years ago.
Yeah.
We were finally able to implement it last year,
Mhm.
and I think we talked all year about it.
Yeah.
We really
And
did.
it's been a great success. When we're done today, we'll have done 20 TV interviews.
Even more than last year.
Yeah, we're getting, and you know, behind the camera, Andy there, who no one can see.
Oh my God,
keeps
he's
us
great.
good. He's the one making us look good.
Yeah.
You know, it's just another example of how this conference continues to live, breathe, and grow.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's going to be new and exciting features next year.
Yep.
And we'll be excited to announce those throughout the year. And, you know, Michael, once again, we want to thank you for your leadership. Thank you for the opportunity for us all to come together and be a community. And yeah, we look forward to working with you all year long.
Next year is a little later. It was one of those things that I could not get the April, because we're always in April, but we're at pretty much mid to end of May next year, 18, 19, 20, 27. So May 18, 19, and 20 and 27.
Okay.
So
mark your calendars at home,
and
because
I hope to see everybody here, and you're going to be hearing something about TransAction throughout the entire year.
yeah, we're excited. Michael, thank you once again for your leadership, your vision, and for keeping TransAction the greatest transportation conference in America.
We try our best, and thank you very much for everything that you've been doing. You've been a great partner.
You're a friend and a partner, and glad to do it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks, Anthony.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for this very special episode of TransAction TV.
And I'm officially closing TransAction 2026.